Alright, we are in game with the replay. So I will highlight myself here to watch this through my eyes. Um, we'll put the game speed on the default. The camera will move about as it was when I was playing the game. I'll just give a quick narration of this match. Now, I'm going to put it on fast forward for the first few minutes. It's a 15-minute match. We'll go double speed until about the 5-minute mark or until the action really starts to happen here. So, just a crash course of the game in general. You're playing the mini map. Like, you think that the TV, the whole screen is the game, and in a way it is, but fundamentally, this is the core part of the game right down here in the bottom left. This is your mini map. That and the top right corner of the screen, your eyes will be going back and forth between these two things constantly once you get a sense for the game. Because this is telling you very critical information. The amount of resources you have banked, and your max supply count. Right now it's 23. The significance of this cannot be understated. Your supply determines the size of your army. You might have a cap of 100 units and run out and lose half of those and be down to 50. You didn't lose any supply depots. You can still just keep pumping out new units with some of your income, your resources, and you'll get right back up to 100, but no greater than that. That is the max size of your army. You'll need more supply depots to push that further. The Terrans, the humans, have 3 buildings to produce their units from. You see, I'm going to take over the camera here. We have the barracks for infantry units, Marines with their machine gun, Reapers to fly about with the jetpack, jump ledges, throw little bombs to displace units. The Marauder slows enemies down with his grenades. He's armored, does anti-armor damage. He's kind of like an anti-tank specialist. And then your Ghost is your spec ops. I didn't really use them this game. You generally don't use them. Oh, well, let's slow it down. Let's get back to the action here. So I sent out an early attack squad. This pretty much hard counters the units that he chose, and he does not have his speed upgrade, so I'm actually fast enough that I can just do this. You'll see this is my camera during the game. You might see it jump back to my base from time to time. But I'm mostly focused on just getting value out of these units. The name of the game is not to have a bunch of units that are not getting you value. It's okay to sacrifice units as long as they got more value than you invested in them. But if you end up making 200 supply an army and just spreading it around the entire map to defend your base as it grows and grows and grows and grows, and then the enemy shows up at some point with 200 all in one place, and you tell your whole army to attack move towards that, attack to defend yourself, well, they're going to be so concentrated that you're just going to kind of flow in and die, because all of the units will be so outnumbered when they arrive that they'll die in time for the the enemy to hold formation. It'll be like the 300 Battle of Thermopylae and all that. You'll lose massive numbers to a tightly packed enemy and well-positioned enemy force. So here I'm taking my second base right at the 5-minute mark. It probably should have been a bit sooner, but I got that harass in, so it is all good. Now you'll notice my control groups down here. Oh, wait, we got some action. And hold on just a second. Let me pause this. I want to amend something here. I noticed the life bars are useful to me when I'm playing the game. It's not so good when you're trying to see the battles for what they're worth here. So we have gameplay options, normal. We'll not show the flyer helper. And then I turned off experience points. We'll turn off all that. Now you can actually just see the battle as it unfolds. That's much better. So now he has the speed upgrade. You notice the wings on his little Zerglings. He can outrun. He moves as fast as my units here. Which is funny because I told them to attack the unit, so that I don't have to manually command those. Those are automatically keeping up with the unit. And he thinks that if he just kind of runs in a zigzag about the map, he can stop safe somewhere, and he's going to be disappointed when he finds out that that's not what's going to happen. So again, control groups. I tend to keep all of my command centers, or basically my worker production facilities. These and resource collectors. I keep all of these on one hotkey so I can just click a mineral node, it acts as a rally point, and I can just use my keyboard to constantly send new workers to keep increasing my economy. I messed up here. I realized that he had vision of that tank. And their speed is making them a bit of a threat even to the unit that best hard counters them. They're getting too close on my tail. Of course, they killed the tank. I have another one. Now, I wanted to show the replay of this game in particular because the battle tended to stay in one centralized location, and it was this is a prime example of being able to just reinforce your army through hotkeys. So you'll notice I have on my control group 5, I have my barracks that produces 2 at a time at the reactor. I have 2 factories, one with a reactor, one with a tech lab for tank stores, etc. My starport, and it's not a whole lot here. I'm working on a new command center. I want to take a 3rd base, and that'll basically give me the license to add more production facilities and get my workers to saturate a new mineral line so my income's high enough that I can run units out of more production. They'll just keep reinforcing my lineup here, but I need to make sure that I'm not letting the Zerg take half the map while I'm focused on one little attack or strategy. You know, you have to be thinking long term in this game. You might go in and do a really good attack and a significant amount of damage, and you think you're about to win the game. And with Zerg in particular, if they're researching technology in the back of their base, or rather evolving a new strain of Zerg, and they have like 20 larvae banked up and a bunch of resources, those 20 larvae will turn into a unit that your army is not prepared to deal with. They'll murder everything, and then you'll have to think about how you're going to be prepared for when everything shows up at your base and counterattacks, and that can be really ugly. I lost a game like that today, but not this game. This game I win. Spoiler warning. So here's where the action starts. I'm like, okay, I have a big enough attack. I can claim some ground, some position. I can get a siege tank and some mines to kind of cover my retreat. I'm going to actually work from this side of the mini-map toward the left and see how many bases he's taken on his starting side. We're going to shut down that creep spread. I want to get off the creep. Zerg units move faster on the creep than off. Widow Mine, really nice hit there. Siege tank is putting in some work from the back. I'm getting a little more artillery here. Right by the Widow Mines. You can't really advance too close to my tank because those will discharge again. If he comes in with the Zerglings, I have the flamethrowers to mitigate the surround. He's trying to get away with his workers. Watch what I do. I transform my Hellions because they move fast and do splash damage. Lots of free, easy value. Killing workers is an incredible benefit to you throughout the game. And if you want to see some information in the replay that I couldn't see during the game. Oh, I realize I'm losing. I'm outmatched. I'm going to evacuate. He can't follow me, though. The Widow Mines. I think he knows they're there. I'm going to regroup down here. I'm going to drop back out of my dropship. We're going to get a bunch of units and go back in.
Oh dear.
We got good value out of our units there. Oh, okay, there's my command center. This is a funny little thing that happens on the back end here. So I didn't realize these Zerglings were here. I just told myself to take this mineral patch. So as soon as I land, I'm being attacked. But I just looked down. I was rallying these units across the map. I said, you know what? These are good against Zerglings. I'm just going to clean it up right here and now. I put my SCVs on auto repair. They clean up the damage that my vehicles took. The Reapers heal automatically. They're gonna get up with the rest of my army. I'm gonna be mining from here, and then I immediately push onto the map. I'm hoping I get some more Widow Mine hits in. I don't know that I will. This queen gets isolated off the creep. They're incredibly slow off creep. They're supposed to be defender's advantage units, so if you get them off of the creep, they can barely walk. And I want to rewind for just a moment there and show what I did. So where was it? Let's go to 11:30. The Reapers have an ability. These guys right here have an ability to throw like a little grenade out. You'll see them do it. Oh, there's the Widow Mine. Right here, you'll see him do it. There's one. Boom. Throws him to the side. Throws these guys back. So you can interrupt the opponent's attacks, disperse their units, all while you're still hitting them and getting into position. So now these eggs and larvae are basically units in production. They can be destroyed, but they're incredibly difficult to destroy. You have to have the units that are particularly good for it. Once they hatch, though, they're just normal units. They can be dealt with. Throw in more little grenades. They're actually considered light units. They're weak against the flamethrower. I was trying to hit the afterburners on that, but I was a little bit slow too. But you see what I mean? This is just kind of like a consistent battle, a consistent push. I'm always reinforcing. Every time he loses his army, I'm losing my army, and we're basically producing units at the same speed and encountering each other across the map. So there's just like this kind of slow, steady battle. I should be trying to take this third base out of the picture, but just standing between it and the other bases is sufficient, to be honest, because if I get a foothold, I can just send a couple units back to clean that up, and there won't be any way that he can deal with it easily. The risk, though, is that he can hatch units from these larvae and come around for the pincer attack on me, so I have to bear that in mind.
Ready to raise some hell. Go, go, go. Ready to plunder.
You'll notice this is what the information you can't get in game is. I can see my supply. I have 51 workers, 67 units. He has 35 workers, 16 units. So not only do I have a much bigger army, but I have much more income, much more presence on the map, much more ability to produce units quickly. So it's a snowball effect. The game was won quite some time ago. He was just putting up his best fight to try and hold on. But it was a definite uphill battle. There was not much he could do there. So the player left the game there. All of his units will stop retaliating. At this point, it's just cleaning up for fun. And there's not much left to do. So I left the game. But yeah, you'll see that. Just a recap of my camera. I'll put it on double speed, just for or quadruple speed here. We'll go fast. Or better yet, let's put on his camera. You can see what he's seeing. So these are his units. These are his control groups. These are his choices taking place. You can see what units he's selecting. And that's one of the beautiful things about the game is you can really go back and see when a player is significantly better than you, how they play different from you. What are they choosing to do with their resources and their time? Where's their camera? What are their control groups? Where are they clicking? What's going through their head? You know, like what's the goal? You can decipher all of that by watching them play. And what's more is you can relive your victory through their defeat. And that's always fun. Seeing your army jump out of the fog of war and attack and ambush with units he wasn't expecting. And pull all the cheeky tricks, kite them over some widow mines, and all the good stuff. Cliff jumping reapers, Vikings landing on the ledge, drop ships with the siege tanks. There's quite a few Terran units I actually didn't even create in this game. I kind of chose my positions and went with that. But yeah, he separated the tank from the rest of my units.
Mineral field depleted.
He's just looking for value. He does not want to throw those away, but he inevitably ended up doing so.
Mineral field metamorphosis.
Yeah, there you have it. Good old Starcraft stream.